In this video, I'm going to go through another binder. I used to be a project lead, a tutor in Miami for people that are learning English or are they need help with their reading. It's a volunteer program. I always wanted to be a teacher. So I went on and I bought $99 worth of books, $90 plus $9 shipping, from New Readers Press, a division of Pro Literacy Worldwide. NewReadersPress.com. So what happened was, I wanted to be a teacher. However, you see, no one talks to you about college. It's quite expensive to stay in there. And you could goof up by your financial aid not coming in, like the first time I went to college. And then the second time I went to college, after I had kids, my kids paid my student loans. That was, I don't even know how the IRS works. Apparently, I would get back $3,000 or $4,000 for the two kids, but I didn't get it for several years, maybe 5 years, maybe 3. Yeah, 3 about, and so I didn't get any of that money back. So 4 times 3 is like 12,000. Yeah, that would have covered the student loans. So as soon as those were paid, I was able to go to school again. So I moved up here and I started going to school. It was a $30,000 school, 18-month program for. I went for the networking and computers, but the teacher, he knew his stuff, but he couldn't teach. He was just blah 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 blah. The word he kept repeating was PCPIP or something like that. And then I went to another school for $600 or $800 for, what was it for? For the guy that tells you how much your house is worth, appraisals. And I couldn't believe that there were like 800 people behind me. Maybe it was only like 400. But in a room that size, and all the guy kept saying, he knew his business too. He kept saying, use PAP, US PAP, PAP, US PAP. I mean, those are not teachers. So I was horrified. I blew $800 or the spouse's money, plus the gas to go all the way over there. But back to the school for $30,000. I didn't take the networking because I was there 3 days and I had no idea what the guy had talked about. He was just blah 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 blah. And I don't learn from people reading a book to me. Not when it's technical. If it's a story, I could follow a story. However, then I talked to the other guy that was there in computers. He was doing desktop publishing. There's a word for it. And I told him that the introductory course to computers was very tough. And then he said, well, if it's that tough, you're going to flunk my class. So I also told him I was like a caveman coming out, because I had just learned to use email and things like that. And it was a terrible course. Oh, I didn't take his course either, because it was a terrible thing to say to me, because the way I looked at it is, okay, I'm going to fail his class. That means he can't teach. I mean, if a student is willing to learn something, it just didn't work out. So I took the business administration class, which was the easiest thing because everything else was medical. And I liked the medical, not the practical part where you have to take someone's blood pressure and take their blood sample. Um, all right, I'll say it. One of my weaknesses is blood. I don't do well when I see blood. Whereas other people that I know, it doesn't, needles don't bother them. As long as it's not their own body, they're totally disconnected. They could really take care of somebody else because they don't feel, they're disconnected from the pain or the situation, which allows them to be able to do things to help. So I took the business administration class, and I ran into trouble with the last two classes, psychology and accounting 2. Because I took accounting 1 and I didn't like the teacher. He was an excellent teacher. I liked that part. I didn't like his test, that his test was 4 hours long. You had to balance 80 transactions. So I balanced 40 and I got a D. And I quit, and I told the dean that this is just wrong. I mean, if you're taking a class on how to change a tire, and you can change one tire, then that's fine. That's a good final. You don't have to change all 4 tires to pass if I would run the class. So then I had to drop out until that teacher left. And he told me, we went over this 5 years ago. We're not going to change the final exam. I said, well, I'll just wait until you leave. I didn't say it to him, but that's what I did. And then the psychology teacher there, they just moved down from another state, and she's a great person. However, the class was off topic every single day. As far as someone's dog died and they wanted taxidermy, is that it? When they stuffed the dog and that she was driving and holding the dog, okay, that's fine. But then somebody else started talking about something else, and she would not talk about the topic, which was psychology. And so I didn't like, I got this now. I didn't like the off-topic class. So then I looked into online schools, but I did drop out. I spoke to the dean. I said, what do I have to do to stop coming here? And he said, just stop. Everything will take care of itself. Well, he didn't say everything will take care of itself, but that's what I thought it meant. And what happened was, when I did go back, I owed them, but they didn't tell me until I was finished with the last 2 classes. And then they told me that I owed them $2,000, or I couldn't graduate with my associate's degree. So back to colleges, you got to figure out, you see, that's why I like carpentry more. If you're going to build a table, if you can build me a table and it's not wobbly, then you pass, all right? You pass. And that's what I like about the trades. Whereas if it's theory, like not accounting, if you don't balance it, there we go, accounting is something. But I'm not for accounting. I'm not a bean counter. That's what the teacher told me they call them. I'm more of a coach, an encourager. However, I don't have a skill except in speaking politely and encouraging people. Even while I was there was a girl that was about to start crying, my classmate, And we were in the lunchroom, and I said, you are going to pass. She said she wasn't going to pass. And I said, you are going to pass. Let's just keep working on it. But I think she did drop out. She was a rich girl. You can tell by the cars that they drive. And she had a boat. All right. Things like that. So, was it her brother? Yeah, her brother had a boat or something, but he was the same age as her, like teens and stuff, 18, 19, 20. I imagine he was that age. I know she was about that age, 18. She's the one I was telling her about Thanksgiving. She asked me, what are you going to do? And I said, I don't know what my spouse is going to do. She's probably going to make a turkey, but we're going to have a problem with, I don't think she has a pot big enough for the turkey. And she looked at me and she said, the turkey goes in the oven. And I went, oh, I didn't know. That's how much time I spent in the kitchen. I mean, for that, conversations like that, eye-opening, college is good. However, if you really want a skill, I think the military has probably the best schools. I have not been to them, but I read about the snipers, and the snipers, they have 6 inches that they have to get the target, the bullet in between the 6 inches, because that's about as wide as a face is. And so what I've seen another guy that came out of the military and he could fix my refrigerator. So what I've seen is maybe they do have good schools. One guy told me in the military that his classes for learning, that was sacred time. The students were on the ball. I like that discipline where nobody's goofing off and saying things like, I need paper, I need a pencil, I need a book, like the high school circus that I have seen as a substitute. Talk to you in another video.